I take the mic out of the, okay. I want to just thank you, Lee and Belinda, for the invitation to be here with you all tonight. I'm so excited to continue to be representing McDonough County, even if it's not the entire county. I agree with you, I'd love to have it. And I just want to say, I appreciate the recognition regarding the headquarters, but it should be the mission of every candidate on the ballot to make sure that we're supporting the local county party. So many candidates rise and fall based on just how well the generic Democrat does in a county. And the county party and the precinct committee people and the county chair are the people that make that happen. When you don't have a headquarters, as we've seen over the past month, where do those people that get energized by seeing Kamala Harris take charge? Who do they call when they're excited about this? They see it on the news, they see the vice president doing so well, and say, I want to get involved in my hometown. I want to get a yard sign. I want to make phone calls. I want to go knock on doors. If you don't have a number and a location that people know they can go to, you're going to have a much harder time getting the job done. And so I'm glad that we're able to have that headquarters here in McDonough County. We have ours in Rock Island County and Knox County. That is where we need to encourage people to go. And I'm referring people there all the time. And so I hope when you talk to your friends and neighbors and they say, hey, is there anything I can do to help? Call your party chair, head down to the headquarters, and they've definitely got a place for you to be. So make sure to do that. As I mentioned, I feel extremely welcome here in McDonough County. I couldn't be happier to represent this district, but there are two things that I have to say when it comes to representing the area. I would trade it all and stay back in Rock Island County if in 2018 we had elected John Curtis to the House of Representatives. And if we had elected Greg Johnson to the 36th district that year, he was running on the ticket with me against Republican Neil Anderson. I would trade the seat I have now for those two gentlemen any day of the week and twice on Sundays. So thank you, John, for all your hard work. I try to come here to you, and I usually talk about all the good things that we've done in Illinois, and I'm going to get to that. But I do want to start off by recognizing, as we sit here in Macomb, the challenges that we're facing in the city, with the university, and McDonough County as a whole. With the announcements of layoffs these past couple months, it's been incredibly difficult for me to talk to people and try to give people hope that things are going to continue on and that things will get better. We had a very difficult budget cycle this year compared to a couple other cycles. And I'll come back to you in the past, talk about how well we're doing overall as a state, and our controller will be up to talk a little bit more about that, I'm sure. And she's absolutely right, and she gets a lot of the credit for that. And please give her one round of applause. But no matter what she's able to do magically with paying the bills, we can't just create money out of thin air. And we do have to make sure that we're spending within our means. And so universities like Western came to us in the spring to the legislature, as did Northern and Eastern and Southern. And they said, after the governor proposed a 2% increase, they said, we can't make it on a 2% increase. We can't. We have these other problems. We need to continue to fund operations. We'll have to look at layoffs if it happens. And unfortunately, there weren't enough of us in Springfield to advocate for a higher budget for our universities. I was successful in getting an additional funding of the Illinois Veterans Grant and the National Guard Grant, which Western disproportionately benefits from. But still, that's not enough compared to what we need. And so, what did we see after we passed the budget? What did we see the university do? They made very difficult decisions and made these layoffs happen. And so I'm hopeful that when we go back either in November or January, that we can go to my colleagues, go to the governor and say, this is what they asked for with the universities. This is what they told you was a possibility. This is what I told you was a possibility. and then we see the reality play out just as it has. And so I'm hopeful that we will be able to convince them that we need to do more on higher education. We will, I believe, in the spring, talk about a higher education funding formula, something I think I've mentioned at this event or here locally before. But that's too late. We need to really encourage the governor and my colleagues in leadership to fund something soon, a supplemental appropriation of some kind. And in turn, using that funds, make sure that we hold the university accountable, make sure that they're transparent about their plans, and talk about what they're going to do with the money if and when we're able to get it. And so I encourage you to continue to contact not just my office, but your other local state legislators, even the Republicans. Make sure that they know what's going on. Contact the governor's office, and together I'm hopeful that we're going to be able to keep the university on a more solid footing. So with that, that's the kind of the bad news out of the way. I won't want to go on to continue and talk about some of the good things that we're doing and what we're going to be looking at if we're successful in the fall, which I think we will be. So I live in Rock Island. My district, as you may know, goes from the Quad Cities down to Galesburg, Monmouth, and Macomb. And we're right across the river from the state of Iowa. And we see all the great things. Sorry, I need a sarcasm font. We all see the great things that they're doing over there. Things like banning books and limiting what teachers can say in schools, making them recertify their union every single year, making children work at 14 at bars and taverns, or even in the mines, I think, such as they are over there. And I'm ever thankful for the fact that we live here in Illinois. We have so much going on for us now. Last year, instead of putting kids to work, we revamped Illinois' child labor laws to make sure that children aren't being exploited and that we're putting folks looking for work to work. And that's something we can all be proud of. We see what Iowa's doing with teachers, making it harder and harder to be a teacher, not improving benefits, keeping wages down. We raised the minimum salary for teachers in Illinois, right? We're protecting teachers' right to teach, not banning books in schools. We're protecting that. In fact, we actually banned the book banning here in Illinois. It's one ban I'm in favor of is banning bans. We're actually embracing real freedom. Republicans like to talk about freedom. They think it's something that they've been able to co-opt that for many, many years. And this was a theme at the convention, if any of you watched it this year at the DNC. They've co-opted this term, made us feel as if we don't appreciate freedom. But they're the ones telling us what women should do with their bodies. They're the ones telling us how we should honor the troops, how we should honor our police, at the same time that the guy at the top of their ticket is undermining what veterans stand for and what they've sacrificed throughout their entire lives. That's unacceptable. So we have to demonstrate we're for freedom of speech. We're for freedom of expression. We're for freedom to let teachers teach what they need to teach. And I think that message is sinking in. It wasn't just the convention that it became a big issue in. We're seeing this in every community, particularly here in Illinois. We understand that we're finally taking that argument back because the majority is with us. As you sit in this room, how many of you here have a friend or neighbor that you never thought would consider voting for a Democrat has maybe said, hey, tell me a little bit more about this Vice President Kamala Harris? Anybody? I know I have, so. And there's a lot more that are probably sitting at home a little bit too scared to admit that they're ready to vote for Harris and Walz. So anytime you see someone that maybe you thought was an independent, leaned a little bit Republican, have that conversation with them, because those are the people that we need to get out to vote. Can you do that for me? I try to end my talk with a little bit of a call to action. And so normally it's just, hey, make phone calls, knock on doors. But this time, there you go.
Wear it!
Exactly. Be a beacon for those folks that might be a little curious. But seriously, go out, maybe talk to that family member that's been a little bit estranged, or that neighbor that used to be what we call, an establishment conservative, right? Country club conservative. That may not like the attack on democracy, may not like the rhetoric, the lack of respect that may be that they may consider voting for a Democrat, and just tell them why, and tell them, hey, we don't have to agree on all these issues. All we have to agree on is that this guy is the wrong guy for the job. And so my call to action for you today is to try to find those people, not just get the friends and Democrats that you know are going to get out and vote for us, but try to find one or two people that you might be able to re-engage. It's going to help all of us up and down the ticket. It's going to help us re-engage with people that we thought may have been too far gone. And over time, it's really going to help the entire country if we can start getting along again and reaching out with that commonality and that unity for the great country that we have. So I appreciate the time tonight. Thank you so much for having me, and I guess I'll turn it back over to Lee.